We've had numerous of people, we don't know who they are, from Channel 6, we suppose, come up in his yard and inspect, look at his tower, and he cannot be running a 32 pill as long as he's keyed up on some RGA coax. If you do the math and do some Ohm's law there with the characteristic impedance of the coax there, and everyone knows about what RGA coax handles there, and you cannot key up as long as he does with 3200 or 4000 watts in RGA coax. Heck, you burn it up with a 16 pill. So you could probably key pretty reliably about 800 to 1000 on RG8, no problem, all day. Yeah, you get it slightly warm between the radio and the antenna terminals there, but you sure as hell ain't gonna be doing it with no 32 pill very long.
I want to know how long is his antenna since as our antennas are too long and don't have the right spread. How long is MotorVan's antenna?
MotorVan. See, that's the trick. That's the myth behind antennas. See, yeah, you get more gain when you stretch your long boom Yagi antennas out, but the given angle, the takeoff angle in the atmosphere, is not always at between Ohio and California at between 5 and 10 degrees. Sometimes it's higher, and to get that proper angle there, you need to transmit at a higher angle in the atmosphere. How do you do that? You run a shorter boom Yagi antenna with less elements and less gain. The gain has to come from somewhere. That's what gain is all about. It's not doesn't make it up out of nothing. It robs it from other directions there. So basically, you want a shorter boom antenna. It's got more spread. It covers more angles in the atmosphere instead of maybe a big 8 or a 10 element. And you're only sitting between 5 and 10 and 15 degree spread in the atmosphere. MotorVan's antenna with the height at 72 feet and the beams that it's vertical and all that. He's got a very low takeoff because vertical has a lower takeoff than horizontal, and being at 72 feet, and that his antenna is broadcasting between the 5 degrees and 40 degrees out to the horizon. So he's got a very, very wide angle of angles covered in the atmosphere up and down. So that's why sometimes you'll hear MotorVan continuously. His signals will stay in there, and a lot of people's signals you'll see will vary up and down. But 10 meters is really like that anyways there. And we're supposedly supposed to be going down on a sunspot cycle right now. But I don't know if any of you guys pay attention to a website called Solar or Space Weather. Spaceweather.com. You can look at the solar flux and all that. It typically takes a solar flux to support propagation on 10 meters and 11 meters of at least 90 to 100. So anything, when them numbers are real up high like that, basically the ionosphere is charged with electron content particles there, and will reflect radio waves like a flashlight on a mirror there, basically there. But yeah, I love antennas there, and you know, I just wish everyone can get out here, you know, just get along, and heck, we could have a good antenna topic there. I've built numerous of antennas. I'm in the ham radio, and I run stack 4 antennas vertically on a 50-some foot tower, around 25G, couple guy wires on it, and it does pretty good there. I operate around the VHF range and all that. But yeah, that's the story on MotorVan's antenna there. Any questions on that? Yeah, he has just RG8 coax and a 4-pill, 42879s. That's all he has on there. So yeah, do the math there. He can't possibly be running those 32 pills out there. His antenna, he wanted to go up with it, and we kind of got caught with the weather and all that. So his antenna's not right. We can't run that much power right now. His SWR goes to the roof. He's got like a loose connection on one of the elements up there. We see it when the wind blows and all that. It goes from flat to up in the red. So he's kind of limited on the power that he can run right now. But yeah, come this springtime here, I'm going to take care of that there, and we're going to let it down and then pull it back up with a big electric winch and all that there. But that's pretty much the story on his antenna there. Basically, he covers from 5 degrees because of the height of his antenna, because it's 72 feet, and that the antennas themselves are widespread between 5 and 40 degrees there. So that's the difference between those big long boom antennas. Yeah, they look neat and all that, but it's not necessarily the best antenna to use all the time. Go ahead there. I used to go by Antenna Man 251 back in the day, but I never ran much more than a sits pill out in the air, and my antenna at that time wasn't that high. But MotorVan, he apparently wants to take it to another level there, so I don't mind helping him out there and trying to teaching him to do the right things. And he kind of has a potential station to be too strong for, the amount of, he needs to learn the lingo of the band and actually talk on, on sits there. But I'm trying to teach him there, but he's kind of got his own way, and he just needs to go with everyone else's flow out here on the band. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling on, but go ahead with any more antenna topics out here. That's kind of my thing there. Once again, everybody take care. From Antenna Man 251 in Cincinnati, I got down.
I sure hope they don't ask you now another question because you did ramble on. I wouldn't like for you to keep that station down or MotorVan's 4 pill or whatever the pill is because you would ramble on just like you ramble on it. That's how come MotorVan do that. That's where he get that from. You've been trying to teach him and you taught him to ramble. Because that is exactly what you did. You ramble. And I'm glad you realize you ramble. Now you and MotorVan need to sit down over there and just watch them porno movies and you won't have to ramble for that. Lord have mercy. I don't know nothing about no antenna. And now that's one question and this cat can pick up. I see why MotorVan go all the way around the mulberry bush when you ask him a question. One direct question. And this cotton picker went to California and came on back through Virginia and then went back to Cincinnati. Oh, let me breathe.
Y'all answer the question. He give y'all an answer. Damn.
Yeah, MotorVan's tech there. You know, you made some sense, but about the length of the beam, I think you're wrong on that there. Your calculation, I say by theory, whatever, and I experiment a different way. DBI is on an 80-footer. He stayed 6 miles from me. And I had another friend of mine. He's on an optimized 40-footer, and I'm on a shorter beam, flat side beam. And it's a moonraker. Watt for watt, I cannot talk with that doggone 80-footer or that 40-foot optimized beam. And my beam is 36 foot. And there's another guy down here who's on a 4-element flat side. He can't make a trip. Now, something wrong with that theory you're saying about the length. I would never believe that because I've seen it in action. I know for a fact these guys with short beams aren't talking. So that you might have thrown it out the window. I never will believe that. No way. No way.
I want to know what kind of damn, he got stacked beams. What kind of stacking kit, what kind of coax does he use to stack them? Can you answer that? Answer that. What kind of coax you use to stack them fours? That's a good question.
Okay, I heard the last guy I heard you there about the stacking harness, but the guy before that, you're really low on the audio, and I think you were saying something. I'm going to try to address you first. You were saying something about the length of the beam and the short beam, and then how you were or able or not able to make the contact, something like that. Typically, your shorter antennas are going to do a lot better, like for your shorter skip distances, like in the summer and the spring months there, when the atmosphere is more compressed there, and than the colder months there. It takes the higher angle there, and them high gain antennas sometimes will be just as evenly matched, or sometimes even come out on the shorter end than like the 3 and the 4 elements there. That's because they have a much higher angle of takeoff in the atmosphere there. I didn't hear everything of what that first gentleman was saying, but as far as the second gentleman, we made our own phasing, our own stacking boom. That was up the motor van. He did that. I did all the electrical work on the coax. They're called phasing stubs. There, 275 ohm phasing stubs, and you got to use a quarter wave on each side of the antenna, and they come right from the antenna, and you throw 75 ohm into a barrel connector there. Basically, there it's just a quarter wave matching stub. That's all it is. And then you put it into a T connector there, because when you put two 50 ohm radiators there, they act just like 50 ohm resistors. So if you put two 50 ohm resistors in parallel, what do you get? You get 25 ohms, right? Well, that's not good, because that's a mismatch. That's a 2-to-1 mismatch on your 50 ohm coax. You need to bring the impedance up. So what you do is you use two 75 ohm lines there, and it effectively throws the impedance up when it's in parallel with the antenna. So basically, you can use quarter wave or any odd, even number of stubs. Basically, there you can't use even number, because if you throw an even number of phasing lines on the antenna, you will cancel the radiation effects, the transmission when it goes out on the end of the coax before it can get to the antenna. It has to be odd quarter waves there. Make sure you don't use even there. So that's the deal on that. And MotorVan can tell you more about the stacking boom than I can there. He did all the mechanical construction on the antenna, and I basically was part of the electrical to make sure everything was going to work right, as far as, you know, from the radio, the transmission, the RF radiation to the antennas there.
Hey, MotorVan, it seems like your tech know what he talking about, man. It seems like he know what he talking about. Well, what I want to know now is, since you got all this good, you know, this good tech behind you, who you gonna key on next? Well, when are you gonna start keying on somebody? Call somebody out? That we done figured it out now. You the man, so I want you to call somebody out, go out there and handle your business, and put that mall on somebody, man. You know, show us. We want to hear this. We want some Watergate. Start Watergating, cat nigga.
You know, I kind of picture it as it's not about taking over the band. I've never been about that and trying to ruin, you know, other people's enjoyment on the radio. I've never been about that, and I don't like that at all. I just want everyone to enjoy it. And if anything, if I can shape MotorVan to be anything out here on the airwaves and just kind of coach him along the way, and you guys just keep beating him in the head and putting knots in his head while you can, you know, I kind of picture him maybe if he can, you know, just be a little mini superstar out there, you know. Yeah, have a good sounding station, you know, but just don't ruin it for anybody else, you know, no matter how small or how big the next person is there. That's what it's all about. You know, we're really just a small group of people out here, and we just, you know, learn to get along with each other there. And I just always been about that since day one there.
Hey, 88 MotorVan Tech. Get an ex-customer, man. I need to hear more about you. Get an ex-customer. MotorVan, he ain't gonna stop. That duplicator ain't gonna stop, man. You know. So, you know, get yourself an ex-customer, man. I want to hear somebody else on your stuff. You know, because MotorVan, he ain't listening, man. So get yourself an ex-customer, man. I want to hear some more of your stuff.
Man, I was listening. I love to listen. Motor Tech. Hey, Motor Tech. How much would you charge putting me one of them together? Hey, Motor Tech. How much would you charge me just to put one of them little, you know what I mean, one of them little antennas together?
I don't have any problem. I don't charge really anything as far as knowledge goes. I'm pretty busy. You know, I work probably a 50 to a 60 hour a week job, but as far as the knowledge goes, I could tell you how to do it very easily there. I mean, heck, everyone out here in this room right now has got antennas up already, so it's just very easy to do. The only thing that I will say about the Mako antennas, and a lot of manufacturer antennas, they're all watered down. And what I mean by that is because if you're in operating a business there and you want to sell product and move product out the door, you're going to make it easy for the average Joe or consumer to want it. So you're going to guarantee a good SWR in the antennas. Well, an extremely good SWR in antennas unfortunately doesn't yield very good gain in front to back ratios on the antennas there. So they have to purposely water them down because everyone's station setup is different. Some people got trees in their yards, other people don't. Another person's going to be putting the antenna maybe only 30 feet up in the air. The next person's going to have it 60 feet up in the air. So they have to be able to tune their antennas and give a certain amount of specification dimensions for their antennas there so they can guarantee a happy customer basically there. So that's where I come in, and a few other people that are modding these antennas there that, yeah, you can narrow the bandwidth down. You can trade bandwidth on your antenna for gain is all you're basically doing. So that's basically what I've done with MotorVan's antennas there. His antennas will not talk below 1 or 40. His SWR goes way up in the red. Matter of fact, on both sides of the 11 meter band, his one is like a 1.1 and it goes up to a 1.2 on 40. But on 6 it's perfectly flat. So you'll notice like on some Mako antennas, when you get done tuning them up and you put the stock specifications on there, you notice, well, yeah, I got good SWR when I go way above 40 and below 1. Well, that's not good because you're just not squeezing the mass gain out of the antennas there. That's pretty much the deal on those manufactured antennas there. Go ahead.
And TT man, what he just said to you was he wouldn't charge you nothing for the specs, but he too busy to give them to you. He got a job doing 40 plus hours, TT man. Because I think your direct question was, would he bill you one and what would he charge you? So all of that meant that, ATT man, he said he wouldn't charge you nothing for specs, but what he would do, he got a 40-hour job, and he ain't gonna bill you nothing. That's what he said, and they ain't gonna give you no specs either. That's what that all amounted to. TT man, you feel what I just said?
Yeah. I hear what you say. I hear what you say, ladies people. See, I'm going to Cincinnati. I'm going up there to Cincinnati and see if he got some specs. I can pick some up because I'm gonna try to see can that be a meal. At least, you know what I mean. Try put me some like that in the air. Out there in the cow pasture. So I got a little cow pasture down there by the where turn this setting some up where I can talk. Like Reverend Ike and all the rest of the guys. And trying to get my mobile. See if I put this CX 10,000, bag it up to one of them bigger. Well, he said stacks. Man, boy, I'd be a bad cutting video. Stacks with about 30,000 watts out there. Man, I just hope I don't run out of gas though. But hey, MotorVan, I'm gonna give you a call, Kevin, because I'll be coming up to Cincinnati, man. I got some people up there, man. I got to visit though, but man, I like how you talking, man. Sure. If I can get the specs, hell, I get it close. Then I can beg him when he's not working. See, when he's not working, then I'm a beg him. Well, while he's not doing nothing. But I'm quite sure he'd probably be working with you, and if he's working with me too, hell, I'll pay him. MotorVan. I'll pay him. All you guys do is just be quiet. Let me get out of there and sit there.
Hey, MotorVan Tech. Okay, so he's running optimized beams. He's running a computer beam, and it's 17 foot. So you are right about that. You know that stacked beams do talk. I ran stacked beams like I told everybody here, and I am. A lot of guys haven't ran them. They don't know how they work, but they do work. That's why I'm going with stacked beams. But I want a hot feed. I want a hot feed mine. I don't know if MotorVan hot fed his or not. I'm asking you that too. Is he hot fed? And I think MotorVan told me he's gonna go with four stacked fours, four beams. And one more question. I know he went vertical side, but sometimes it doesn't make any difference because that signal will flip in the atmosphere. So sometimes it don't make a difference. Just like mobiles will talk, big mobiles talk skip, just like a doggone vertical side beam, So ain't no difference, except it all depends on the conditions. So a lot of guys think that vertical side makes a difference, but sometimes it don't make a difference at all, and that's a fact. But he is on a hot, on an optimized beam, and you did say I think he did say that he's gonna run like four beams, actually four element beams. I think MotorVan told me that about a couple months ago. And one more question: why do the ham operators? I know they're on a different frequency, but why do they run mostly flat beams?
Okay, I think I have it here. I'm going to try to answer all your questions there and try to remember. I think the first one was something about the hot fed. I believe what you're referring to is a direct coax feed to the antenna. And my experiment is on that, and what I've seen is that, yeah, it's okay to do that, but the thing is, too, keep in mind is when you do a direct feed, you're 50 ohms. So basically on Yagi antennas, when you're putting the parasitic elements out, you want to use probably a matching network, really, because you want to keep the antenna short. You don't care about the antenna talking above 40 or below 1. So you only got about 400 kilohertz of bandwidth there, so it's okay. Go ahead and use that gamma match or that hairpin or T-match network in there. And then basically there you'll be able to keep between your reflector and your driven element a shorter distance there and get the gain in the SWR. Basically you'll shorten up the distance between your reflector and your driver element, and you'll have more room on that same given amount of boom to space your directors out farther and then lengthen your directors for more gain. That's basically what you're trying to do. The other, and yeah, on MotorVan's antenna, your question was, yeah, he's not hot fed. If that's what you're referring to as a coax direct feed to the antenna, no. He's got gamma matches. His antennas are Mako M104s. There's nothing wrong with Mako antennas. It's just the specs that they tell you how to put the antennas together. So I have no problem. Another gentleman, I think it was TT Man or something, that I couldn't build or share any knowledge. No, it's not like that. Probably not build, but I can share knowledge. I don't have a problem with that. So tell me, I think it was TT Man, what kind of antenna that you're on there? How many elements? I need to know the thickness of the elements, and I need to know how long your boom is and all that. And I can come up with something, and I can get back to you on that. How to set your antenna up. Can kind of explain it to me a little bit about your environment, how high the antenna is located above the ground. Is there any trees that are real close to the antenna? I need to know the coupling effects and all that. So I'm trying to remember maybe another question you might have had. I think I answered at least 2 or 3 there. Anyways, there, 251 in Cincinnati, stand by.
Yeah, 251. I'm in a Mobile. I'm running a TT Man antenna on my Mobile though, but this little bitty antenna I run on my Mobile. But no, it's just something I wanna, just to put something in the air. I don't know. You said 5 versus 8 and all that other 10 and 12 elements. What do you recommend? 4 element, 5 element stack up. Which way should I go? Just to have an antenna. A nice antenna where I can bag my Mobile up to it. That go ahead.
I personally, if I'm going to get on the air, I don't recommend anything over a 5 element Mako, and tune it yourself. Or between a 4 and a 5, a 3, a little bit too much spread. It's got a little bit too high angles in the atmosphere, up around 50 and 60 degrees. It's really unusable, even for between a 500 to a 600 mile skip distance there. I like the 4 and the 5s. I would not go over a 5 element. So stacking 2 5s, yeah, you'd have it going on. I either told MotorVan, we either stack 2 5s or 2 4s. We just happened to have a Mako 4 element on hand. He had one 4 element and I had the other 4 element, and I wasn't using that 4, so we ended up putting them together and all that. So that was the outcome there. But yeah, until springtime here, until we get the antennas down, we'll fix that matter on his SWR. But I heard a gentleman mentioning something about the polarization shift in the atmosphere. Yes, you are correct. A lot of times it just does not matter what polarization you're on, because it'll flip 90 degrees in the atmosphere, and then when it comes back down on the other end of the skip circuit, say you're transmitting horizontal out of California and I'm receiving you out here in Ohio, doesn't mean that your signal's going to be horizontal down over here. It could be vertical or in between. But if you have a vertical antenna up, vertical does broadcast at a lower angle. So if that's what you are needing, is the proper takeoff between California and the East Coast, yeah, vertical is really the way to go, because it has the lowest angle of takeoff over the horizontal there, and that will guarantee you a more better skip, into the farther distance than the horizontal there. But and I believe the other question was about the lot of ham radio guys run horizontal than vertical. Well, they really have no choice. A lot of them would run their beams vertical over horizontal if they could, but the elements are just too long, and then to put the whole antenna up on the tower, like these antennas are talking on 17, 18, and 20 meters, and then for a driven element, size is 492 divided by frequency there, and you're looking at maybe about 30 feet of element there, and then that's a lot of element hanging down, up and down on the bottom of the tower. And then you got coupling interactions between the bottom element and the top of the element being in free space above the tower and all that. So the best way to electrically isolate the antenna and have it up in the air is just to run it horizontal, and it's just a better space, saves better space than running vertical there. It takes up a lot more room. Go ahead.
So, have you ever tried to call 1-800-DBI? Shit. Hey, what's going on, y'all? What the hell I done walked in on? Well, we got we got a professor up in here and shit. Then what y'all done did? How come y'all didn't call me and tell me about what's going on? Caretaker, like, you should have called me, man. So I can throw a monkey wrench or two. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? 1-800-DBI. That's what they gotta do. Shit. Hey, what's going on, Reverend Knight? How you doing? See, Reverend Knight got his chicken bone. What's going on, Reverend Knight? Let's talk about it.
You call me, DV. I'm going back and play in the rain until the class is over. It rained like a cow pissing on a flat rock outside. I'm going back out there, cause time I turned my computer up, I heard a voice I ain't never heard before. Who is this cotton picker? Who invited this cotton picker up to the mic? MotorVan, you're tired of this room enough with these cotton picking mud ducks now. It's time to move on. Whatever time your show started, it's just stopped. Oh, you did crack? Okay, well, crack. Come on now. Yeah, we had AM power one time. We know a lot of text crack. We could call a lot of cotton pickers, but he's not gonna tie the cotton picking band in the evening time. We talk techno shit in the morning and around 12 o'clock and shit. It's prime time right now. We ain't got no time for 7 cotton pickers, 7 boys all cotton picking night. There's 136 people in this room. Finish up, my friend, whoever you are.
Reverend Knight, set your ass down somewhere. You ain't running shit. You go back to where you came from. This man talking some good shit here, and we're enjoying it.
All right, go get your damn notepad, right? Yeah, Ike, sit down, 'cause you got 15 keys coming, and I ain't gonna let off you. When it comes this summer, I got 15 keys for you. Ike, have a good evening. God bless.
Hey, I got one more question. I'm gonna let it go. Hey, Crack, I'm gonna ask one more question, cause Crack will know this too. Do you think the stacked beams are better than single beam? Now I'm saying a good pair of stacks without talking any single beam. I say lengthwise, in the I say about the same size. Now it's very simple question. Will stacked beams outtalk a single beam? And I'm saying what I read about, like I say, I ran stacks, and I say they get. I read about them, and they get 3 dB gains on them. Might be a little less, whatever. But is that right or wrong? I'm just asking you. It ain't nothing wrong with asking. Knowledge is very important to me.
It appears to me that like might be some dissent in the room. So here's the way I like to normally handle it, and I could be wrong, but I'm gonna ask: do the rest of the room want to hear? These are what the easiest way to do it. It does, because some people don't want to hear, and some people do. That's the problem. My mic may not be talking, but my question is this: how many of you in the room do not want to hear what this man is saying? And would y'all like to hear a discussion between people who actually build these damn antennas? All the people who don't want to hear what this man's saying, want to talk about booty thing and whatever you want to talk about, raise your hand, please. Just raise your hand, and I'll get a count on that. I need somebody to count it for me. There's going to be a lot of them. 2217, I don't want to hear a damn thing he says. Okay, two, three. I got 3 people named up there. Okay, now, 23, that's 4. Okay, would y'all mind putting your hand down? Would y'all mind putting your hand down, guys? 809, you can leave yours up, because I know you. That's all right. How many of you in here would like for him to continue talking about what he's talking about? How many of y'all in the room would like to hear what he got to say? It looked to me like the ayes have it. Is that all right? That this is democracy. The ayes have it. So I would advise y'all to continue. Okay. Now I think that's fair. Now all the ones who changed it, all the ones that dissented, would you like to change your? May be dismissed, or continue to sit in the room. You have an option. You can get your ass out of here, or you can stay in here. Now, because the people in the room run this shit, not no one ass person. Thank y'all very much. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Did that clear that shit up? Now, okay, let's go. Come on back up and ask the crazy ass question y'all asked. Before I get off here, over the years, I was under the impression that vertical antennas have a higher angle of radiation. It's the same one that horizontal. Now, this is according to the Ham books. I believe that. And so I'm learning something now. The shorter your beam, the more effective you are talking somewhere. They can hear you better. Now, you might not be able to hear them, but they can hear you better. And I don't know if that's true or not. I don't believe it to be true, but I might be wrong, because I was reading a book the other day on this stuff. They said vertical antennas have a higher takeoff angle than horizontal at the same height. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but this guy said it is not. And he's saying the shorter the antennas, the better they are for what we do. I don't believe that to be true. But I'm gonna let him go ahead on and finish. So what I'm hoping, well, I'm not. What I'm hoping is that everybody in here that believes him actually use that type system. I really do. Everybody believe him. Use it. So we won't have to hear your ass, just like we don't hear MotorVan until somebody get up off that damn mall. We're Super Bowl VI operators, and this guy doing good. Okay, It's got, well, I'm hoping everybody go to it, shit, so I won't hear your ass. I ain't gonna sit down. I got something to say too. I had my hand up. 15 people jumped. So can I say something too? I just want to say that's my interpretation of the way it works. So I had my hand up. I ain't bother y'all, so don't be bothering me. Now let's continue with this technical talk. And damn it, and all y'all don't like it, get your ass out and come back tomorrow when the booty room open up. And believe it or not, MotorVan is believing doing the same thing. He believing doing that booty shit. I ain't lying. That cat Mickey got some booty shit over his house, y'all, and he gonna share with y'all a little bit later on tonight. Ain't that right, lady 64? He got some people say, deeper, now I'm through with it, throw it in the trunk. I said, well, I'll be damned. I said, ain't this a bitch? So that was entertaining to me. Now I'm back cooking. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, crack. I'm kind of enjoying the conversation, man. I might have my difference in opinion, but you know, knowledge is something that you should always, accept, man. And then you make the determination as to whether or not you think, it's wrong or right. But he's saying something which kind of got my curiosity because there's a reason. There is a reason why I'm running a five element on a 23 feet boom. Okay, and this has to go back with some experimenting we did back in Jamaica about 15 years ago. So I compared it with a bigger antenna that I had, and I realized that the shorter antenna was working much better, and that's always been my philosophy. A 5 element on a 23 feet boom spec. And if you notice my antenna crack, my antenna ain't sitting no more than 23 feet above ground. And I don't have to turn my antenna to turn. If I'm talking, it don't matter where I'm talking, man. I don't turn my antenna. My antenna stay in one position. And I can talk to Meanpil, I can talk to Florida, I can talk to Jamaica, I can talk north and south. I ain't got no problem. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him going on, man, because I'm sitting here working and I'm also listening to what he's saying. And, it's not nice. It reminds me of myself when I just came here in California and then dub pluckers was talking.
Something must be wrong with his antenna now. He keep breaking up. Y'all keep hearing that.
I ain't breaking up.
Oh, yes, you are. You breaking up, falling all the way out, talking crazy too about what happens in Jamaica. You in America now. You gonna find out something. These some bitches out here with these great big old long ass optimized beam gonna tear your ass up if they ever get smart and all that kind. So that shit that works in Jamaica don't work in the United States because these some bitches spending money and that ain't no bunch of broke bastards. That's what I call them. But that's well again. What he's saying, guys, is that the shorter your beam, the wider the angle, the wider the signal gonna come off your antenna. So you don't have to move the mother. You can sit out there and just plug damn ear. That don't mean you're gonna get more gain. You're gonna have to run more power to stay with these damn antennas because they can't reach out and get them. I've never seen. Now look here, guys. A 357 Magnum pistol with a short barrel will not shoot as far as a 20. What they call it? What's a smaller caliber? A 25-06. It will not shoot that far. The longer the barrel, the further they go. It just now listen at this. I'm gonna let you guys go. Did y'all know? Now listen to me carefully. I'm gonna get out here. All you women, close your eyes. I mean, close your ears. All the women in the room, close your ears just for a second. Put me on. You can't put me on mute, so you just go ahead and turn the volume down. Okay, you ready? Did you know that the longer your dick, the more pussy you can get?
God dog. Hey, I'm like crack on that there. That's one thing I don't agree with you on the length of the boom, because I I was in a situation where I was around bigger beams, and they were out talking to smaller beams. Now, going with stacking kits, like you say, I think it might work better that way with that shorter beam. Cause I did run against some stacked beams. Like I had my stacked moonrakers, and I ran against the longer beams. The one guy, like I said, had a stacked moonraker sixes, and the other guy had stacked laser 500s. And like I say, watt for watt, I was out talking those guys with the stacked beams. With the single beams, I was getting my butt kicked. So it's something with that. I'm like crack on that theory, man. Long beams going out west. DVI is just a great example, man. He put that long beam up. He's about 6 miles from me. With the shorter beam, he threw about 40 pounds. With that big beam, same watts, he would bury my needle. Now, that was ground waves, but he would hit me harder, way harder. Made a big difference to that length. And so that's about all I got to say. But you're on the money on a lot of this stuff, with the optimized beam. And a lot of guys just don't realize that, you can't the band spread is narrow on an optimized beam, so you're stuck. You're limited where you can talk at. So the guys on talk on channel 11, optimized beam is not very good for you. But you are right on most of the stuff there, Tinvo.
Hey, Mr. Tech, I got a serious question. This is serious. I want to start talking on my own station, and I want to know what size beam do I need to be able to dominate on 270.25 and to have some good amount of dB gain out in the front, and some good rejection. Can you please help me? Because I don't have confidence in 2217's beam, and I'm really, really interested in your beam, and I need your help. Can you help me dominate, please?
Okay, I think I got it here. Not knowing your conditions, your location, your neighbors, and all that, or what you're able to put up, or what size tower that you have up right now. But by all means, the bare minimum that I believe it does the best, and I've done very good, is between a 4 and a 5 element and running horizontal, and have it at least a half a wavelength above the ground, and that'll be about 18 feet above the ground. And on like a one-story house or something like that, you could easily accomplish that there. I've talked very good DX doing that on a single antenna. That would be the very bare minimum. But the best antenna that I would have to say by far that does the best out there and covers all the angles of radiation in the atmosphere, low and high, for your shorter skip is a high angle, and in your low angles, your longer skip, like California, MotorVan's antenna by far. And I'm not, down in DBI's antenna. No doubt he's got a good antenna and all that, and he did a very good job on it. But he's got it up there high, and he's got that long distance to California. Yeah, that's what you need, is that high angle, or no, you need that low angle of takeoff right there. But when the shorter skip comes in the summertime months here, which is right around the corner here, that antenna is going to fall on the short side there. When you get skip only coming out between 300 and 500 miles away, then you're going to want that higher angle, and then he's broadcasting, with you guys with those big antennas between 5, 10, and 15 degrees out to the horizon. You're going to be on the short end of the stick with less gain at the right angle that you're going to need. You're going to need an angle around 35 to 40 degrees, and that's where your shorter antennas come into play right there. So, and the stacks, they cover all the angles. If you get them up, an antenna up high enough like MotorVan, the 72 feet, the antenna itself is not capable of broadcasting that 5 degrees to the horizon. That's where the height, the 72 feet, comes in. That's where he's getting the angle right there. And he's got the low, because the antennas in nature, for the high angle, for the short skip right there, the antennas just broadcast the high angle. So he's got both areas covered. And in the stacks, they're just basically all the stacked antennas are doing. They're just robbing radiation. He's operating a vertical broadside stack is what his antennas are. That means that they're standing straight up in the air side by side, and basically it robs the radiation from other directions, basically from the right and the left, and it concentrates it in the center between the main lobes and just makes one lobe. But if I had by that West Palm, the person there that was wanting some information, antenna advice right there, I'd highly recommend our 4 or 5 element Mako, and at least by the bare minimum get it up 18 to 20 feet up in the air, and just wait for the summer months to come in, because that's when the higher angle and the shorter skip distances come in, and that's when the signals are really intense, and you'll do very good that way.
Hey, 554. I'm not saying that you should agree with me, and that I did say there's a reason why I use that size boom. Now, for anybody who don't understand, shut their ass up.
So you're telling me that you can build me stacked 4s, and I can beat some stacked 4s or 5s, and I can beat somebody like DBI or Swampweed with a little bitty of money and a smaller beam. I can beat them big boys with them big ass beams.
Okay, let me say this. It takes some money to put a station like that together, just on the antenna side of it, let alone the equipment. MotorVan is a jack of all trades, and he does concrete work and anything. I've seen this man do, with his hands, he can do it. So he's got heavy equipment over here and steel laying all over the place. MotorVan's got a homemade tower, believe it or not. He went out there with a stick welder and put this whole thing together, and I don't know nothing about it. I don't even know how to weld or nothing, but this man's really good with his hands, and he really put this thing together. It's pretty strong, and we've had some pretty high winds come through over here, and I think just what, a couple $100 of steel is what he was saying. He got 72 feet up in the air, so towers are expensive there. And then, given a lot of people's locations, a lot of people have the money and would like to do more with their stations out there, but a lot of us are limited. Myself, I would be on the 11-meter band if it wasn't for my neighbors, and I could get away with the code, the municipal code, but I just can't put up anything significant in my backyard to compete, so I just don't get on the air and plug ears, and I don't want to be a mud duck, so I choose not to get in there. But MotorVan's got the yard, he's got the funds, he's got the heavy equipment, and he's got the knowledge with his hands. He could do pretty much right there. But like I was saying, the bare minimum, like a 4 or a 5 element there, and at least a half wavelength above the ground, 20 feet right there would do you very good. Because the higher angles coming in, with the warmer weather approaching here, and the signals are going to be really intense, and I like the shorter skip myself, and it seems like you hear more stations cluttered in there together, and when we start hearing New Jersey and New York coming in from Ohio and all that stuff there, I really like that stuff there. So, but MotorVan he's just on a 4-pill. That's all he's able to run right now, and when MotorVan's able to run some more power out there, he'll be able to broadcast more power in all those angles. He'll be able to cover all those angles with more intensity right there. Right now he's kind of like a shallow, like a stone that you throw in the pond, and it just makes a small ripple. The ripple still gets to the other side, and you still see it, but it's not like throwing that big rock in there. So yeah, he's just a shallow mud duck right now, but he's in there. He just needs more power, more flashlight power to highlight that ripple right there, because he's got all the angles. He can talk all the short skip and the long skip all in one. Heck, a couple days ago I was over here, and it's just amazing what you can hear on these stacked antennas. We hear Australia coming in and Hawaii coming in, and I notice when California fades out and all the local skip, the domestic USA skip fades out of these stacks, and we start hearing international skip coming in there, and the skip just never dies on his radio. I want to say I hear mostly South America in there during the day, and you flip to the west late at night, and you're hearing Australia and all the way on the other side of Europe there. So all kinds of languages out there. But I'm not for sure if his antenna's got around 1 or even 2 degrees broadcasting out to the horizon. It wouldn't surprise me there with what we're hearing out there. But yes, probably MotorVan's antenna is between 5 and 40 degrees. He's got it all covered there. He just needs more power to be a little bit brighter out there.
We got.
Man, I damn near tore my damn truck up trying to get here to get my vote in. I didn't get a chance to vote, but you need to get your ass on up out of here, man. That's real talk. You ain't doing nothing but saying the same shit over and bragging on MotorVan. You was not finna hold this room hostage with that bullshit. You ain't getting out. MotorVan ain't getting out. Man, get on down the road with that bullshit. Man, you realize you just rattling on, saying, I damn near tore my goddamn truck up trying to get here so I could vote, I could get in on myself. Man, get your ass out of here with that bullshit, man. I don't even see how y'all let him do that.
He was voted in, bro.
No, he helped me. I got it all figured out. I just spent a fortune, all my money on this station when I could have just got me a 5-stack and 8 bushels to beat all them big boys and be dominant and be the world boss of the world. No, man, I just spent all my money for nothing.
Yeah, shit, you want to help me talk to the moon, but man, get your ass on out of here with that bullshit. You ain't got sense enough to see you making it.
Man, hey, Fat Daddy, I ain't arguing nobody, but you know what? Can't be here talking about faggots all day long. All day, talking about booties and stuff. Man, I didn't want to hear that either. This man making sense. He ain't talking about booties. I'm just telling like it is, man. I don't want to hear about no men kissing and scrubbing up against one another. That's all I heard in this cafe room this morning for 4 hours.
Oh my God. Fat Daddy, it's okay. It's okay, Fat Daddy. A Juice Mr. Clarence Carter asked, a MotorVan's technician is in here. I believe he said technician, but then he said antenna man, so I'm confused as to whether it's his technician or his antenna man. I don't know which, but it's MotorVan's man. He's over there. And MotorVan was being asked different questions. I'm taking you back because you only asked me a question, so I done learned how to ramble. Hey, Juice, MotorVan was being asked different questions that he could not answer. So he brought in his technician antenna man. And is I'm saying that right? Because he keeps saying his tech, and then this man keep talking about antenna. So his antenna man, technician antenna man Juice. And some did not want to hear him, and some did in the room. So Mr. Carter asked that by vote of hands, Juice, to show who wanted to hear him. And the vote of hands in this room of all these people, the 138 up in here now, I believe it was just a few, 2 or 3 few or less Jews, they voted to listen to MotorVan's technician antenna man. So that's what was voted on, Jews. Not this wasn't belt thing. This didn't have to do with the belt. This is a different thing right here. So we going on with it. Sounding good too.
No, I'm not worried about no belt. All I got to say is I hope he's not on the clock. Because this could be a mighty expensive bill there, 14.
Okay. Then I think this is a fair way to do it then. Again, all the ones who don't want to continue to hear what he said about this type of stuff, ask any question you want to do this, man. Let him answer you. If you're not satisfied, then continue the conversation. All the ones that don't want to hear it, we got 138 people. The majority going to rule now. Okay? All the ones who do not want to hear him continue, raise your hand, please. Fat Daddy, you get a chance to vote this time. Ain't nobody gonna dot you on that. No, crack, I'm not gonna bounce. No, I don't do that when we get into this type of thing. No, I do not. Okay, I don't believe in that. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Can y'all get anybody else to raise their hand too? 4, 5. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Y'all don't want to continue to hear this man. Okay. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me 1, 2, 3. You stop moving around, Double B and Stress. Yeah, something. Double B, you keep moving around. Hell, I ain't gonna count. Throw your vote out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got 11 people. 5, 5, 5. You're late. I throw your vote out. You threw up. Now, would you please lower your hands, guys? Everybody in the room, everybody lower your hand, please. Please, I'm asking, please. Please. Thank you very much. Fat Daddy, please lower your hand. All the ones who want to continue until this thing runs to its end, and we'll know when it ends. Uh, Raise your hand. All the ones who want to continue to hear this man talk about antennas that can be more effective for your radio stations. All the ones who want to continue to hear it. Now, okay. Now, do y'all see what's happening? Now, is it fair that the minority rules in this case? I don't think so. So, I think we should continue. Thank you guys for raising your hand and showing your support in this democratic effort. Now, Obama didn't win by no big old landslide, but he's still the president of the United States. Am I right? Am I right? Okay. Now, let's continue.
Should I take my hands down, crack?
Next question, please.
Four Aces, are you his tech?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody can put their hand down if you would. Part-time, West Coast Test, famous player. All you guys can put your hand down. If not, I'll lower them for you. If you're stuck, you might be stuck. Okay, now, MotorVan's Tech. If you want to continue with your conversation about that, go ahead. But I'm gonna ask you a favor, and it was noted that you are beginning to repeat yourself. Once you've exhausted all your knowledge, and it shouldn't take much longer. And be specific. No, it's not burning. If when you're exhausted, just quit talking, okay?
That ain't dinner burn.
Go ahead, MotorVan. Tech, we're listening with bated breath, and we need to know more how to build antennas. Please explain.
Yeah, that ain't dinner burning over there. That's candy cane backing up, y'all. Yeah, everything's all right.
It ain't like that. I'm just sitting here listening. If anyone has a question there, I've been happy to listen or answer it to the best of my knowledge. I mean, I don't claim to know everything out here, but you know, I do play with antennas quite a bit. That is one of my specialties there. But I'm not trying to take a room. I'm not trying to get on anybody, you know, get a bunch of people on my side there. You guys don't know me and I don't know you, so it is what it is. You know, I'm just in here trying to answer a few questions out here, and I'm just over here and enjoying MotorVan's company there. Always puts on a show over here. It's got something going on there, so I'm just going to sit back and listen here and be quiet a little bit. Until then, Antenna Man 251 in Cincinnati, and I'm back quiet.
Hey, 251, I got one more question. I'm going to get out of your hair. Now, I'm going to stack my beans this spring, okay? I last time I used when my stack fours, I used a PDO2 measurements. Off of the PDO2 distance. I think it was like 22 foot. What's the best length you think to space those horse? I'm gonna run stack fives or fours, but I'm doing the M10 uh, five, but I'm sorry, the M106s, but I'm going to put 5 elements on them. But I like to know the best distance between the two beams to make it work the best. And one more question. To me, I think the ultimate stacking beam would be some stack quads. Stack quads. Now answer those two questions and I'm done there. Go ahead.
Okay, I think I got it here. I don't mean to try to step over anybody or so. Um, yeah, I do like the quads myself, but however, when you're stacking them in a phased arrangement there, they can be kind of tough. I found out to get the SWRs because unless you put a tuning stub, and typically how you tune quads is between the reflector and the driven element, and it's just a piece of metal bar on there between the two copper wires where they join into one, and you're just simulating a shorter length or a longer length is all you're doing. And sometimes that only goes so far, and then you have to start over from scratch, and then you're readjusting all the spreaders to get longer out and then shorten up on, because what you realize is if you got too much down on the stub tuning bar on your driven element there and it's hanging out too far low just to get the electrical wavelength in your SWR in, then you quickly realize, well gee, that'd be a lot better if it was actually in the antenna spread out and you actually had the spreader spread out. It's just a big hassle in my opinion. I love quad antennas. Any loop antenna, since it's a closed electrical element antenna, that they're quieter and they're better on static. And by all means, if you could do it there, yeah, I like the quads. But the Yagis, by far, they're the easiest to tune. You can keep going back and forth between your right and your left element and just adjust them. And you can get it right on, smack on. I mean, you can adjust a 4 or 5 element small beam antenna, and you get that gain as high as you can, and get those angles covered there, and then you're doing, you're doing pretty good. So I'm not sure if you had another question there, but that's pretty much my opinion on it there. Go ahead.
Yeah, the first one, yeah, the most important one. The distance between the two beams, the horizontal beams are going to 5 element. I need to know the distance to make my boom. I said last time I used the PDO2 measurements off the Vonnie beams because I ran the Moonraker 4 stacked, and like I say, they do hear good, man. I know guys used to think I was ghost talking because I was talking to Chicago every morning, and they couldn't hear them. But I could hear things that they couldn't hear with those stacked fours. Now with this here, what I got now, I'm on this flat side Moonraker. I don't hear as good. But I didn't need to know the distance between the for the boom and the spacing on the beams there. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, fine deal there. Same as MotorVan's, 22 feet, 8 inches apart, 5/8 wavelength there. You can look this up in any antenna book. I've seen it myself. I do it on VHF antennas in my backyard. I've seen this figure. It's what is the 5/8? It's 0.525 or 565, somewhere in there. I have to look back, but you just take 5/8, the fraction of 5/8, and then divide 8 into 5 there, and you can get the 0.625 right. I think that's what it is now to remember. But 22, in your case, 22 feet 8 inches apart is exactly where you want to be. No farther apart and no closer in. The gain will go down on both sides of the circuit there. That's the way MotorVan's antenna, and I've seen this in my backyard to experiment with this theory here. Especially on long boom antennas, that theory holds very true also there. Sometimes you can squeeze a little bit more if you're just on a single element like a 2 or a 3, and then you can go a little bit further there. But typically, most of the 99.9% of the time, the full 3 dB enhancement gain over a single antenna will be shown when you stack the two together and have them at the 5/8 wavelength right there. 22 feet 8 inches apart there. Go ahead.
Ohio isn't saying anything. Is that boom to boom 22 feet 8 inches, or is that element tip to element tip? But is that vertical or horizontal? And if it's supposed to be 22.8, how come the books say 27? And if the books say 27, how come Mako's engineers and all those cats only made them 13'6"? Isn't that how big a Mako stacking kit is? 13'6". But you could only go vertical with that, huh? Because then your elements would overlap if you put them on. Oh boy, I'm not learning very much.
Okay, let me go ahead and say this here. It's all about the antennas being watered down to guarantee a good SWR for the customer, the consumer there that's buying the antenna. You have to be careful when you're stacking antennas there, and you have to have the proper phasing line. The manufacturers do not know all this, what the people's environments, everyone, the customers or consumers' environments are where you're locating the antenna at. They have to try to guarantee the best possible SWR so they can make maximum sales on the product there. And as far as what you're saying between stacking between horizontal and the broadside, vertical and vertical, yes, I should have put that in there. For a broadside vertical to vertical stack there, like MotorVan's, 22 feet 8 inches right there from tip to tip on the element. Well, actually, the insides of the elements. From the inside of the element from one antenna to the other. 22 feet 8 inches there. That changes when you stack horizontal. It will look a little closer, but it's the outside of the horizontal elements on each of the antenna that you have to adjust the spacings a little differently for, but it's not by much.
Okay, MotorVan, I'm going to ask you a question. And be as clear as you possibly can without the rambling. A shorter beam, will a shorter beam give a lower angle, lower spread angle? No, I guess I'm saying it right. In other words, from the center of the boom to the right or left of center, is it a wider angle like a 45 degrees or 25 degrees? Is a shorter beam give you more of a wider angle so you don't have to move it? And do a longer beam have a longer beam? Is it a narrow pattern? The pattern is the pattern of your radiation wider with a shorter one or a longer one?
Possible here. Your shorter beam, yes, has a wider angle of takeoff spread. So if you put whether if it's horizontal or vertical, a 4 element or a 5 element, you will find out that you won't have to turn your rotor as much. But you can get that signal up and then get that takeoff angle even lower if you raise the antenna there. So I hope I got it there. Yeah, and the longer boom antenna has a much narrower angle of radiation. You'll have to turn the rotor, yeah, by far a lot more there. But yeah, you can go ahead and stack 2 of them, or like in MotorVan's case, even shorter boom. I know MotorVan, he just points his antenna west, and man, I mean, everybody's just like over 30, 40 S on his meter there, and he hears Oregon, California, Texas coming in there at the same time, and just to have that spread and have the gain behind it right there, and he don't even have to move the antenna there. So yeah, it's all about having the broadest pattern that you can and the most amount of gain behind it there. But the only way you can do that was with shorter antennas, and then have them up higher, and then have the power behind them there. That's the ultimate station there.
The takeoff angle is going to depend on how far your antenna is from ground. That's your takeoff angle. That's not what I'm asking. It has nothing to do with what I'm asking. We understand that. The higher it is, the lower your takeoff angle. But my question was wider spread. Do you realize that, I don't know how you feel about this, but most of the people in this room don't want a wider spread. They don't want that. What they want to do is zero in on a person if they possibly can. Like, if you're talking like up there where you live at, they may not want to hear the northwest corner of Alaska or something. They may hear them at the same time, but they're swinging down to Los Angeles to talk to their friends. And they got to be able to drop these big high-power stations northwest out there in Alaska out of their radio. They got to be. And people like Juice who live in Northern California, they don't want to hear him. So what they want to do is swing down to Mexico and get rid of him, period. Can you do that with that narrow beam? That's the little bit short ass beam. I'm going to say no, you can't. You can't. You have more trouble. You're going to hear more. That's not what we're wanting to do. We're not wanting to hear more people. What we don't want to do is hear less people. We don't want to hear all them suckers. I know damn well I don't. Do y'all? Do anybody in this room want to hear everybody that keys up on the West Coast at the same time? So yeah, your noise level is crazy as hell. Y'all want to hear that? Or do y'all want to be able to turn and listen to different people? Okay, then that's what I thought. I don't. It's true that stacking two beams, if you do it correctly, can give you a little bit more gain. I'm not sure if he's right when you're talking about 4 going to take over like an 8 at 72. I don't believe it. The longer the boom is, the longer the boom and the space of the elements, all that kind of go give you more forward gain. That's what we're looking for. More gain so we can narrow the pattern. We want to narrow our pattern. We don't want to do this damn channel 17 butt duck bullshit. That's not what we're for, sir. I'm sorry. We're not here for that. And so, therefore, since you said that, I think this conversation should end. I think it should end right now because that's not what we're looking for. I don't think so. And now, when you come up with a shorter beam that can outperform like a big old long beam that you can narrow the pattern down where you can zero in on people a little bit better, then that's what we want to hear. So therefore, I think it should end. Now I don't know if the room want to hear more of this crap or not, but I've also noticed only a few people are interested in the conversation so far. Right now, they're listening, but I don't think I think what we've done is pass our learning curve. Y'all know what the learning curve is? Y'all know what the learning curve is? There's only so much information you're gonna be able to take up in an hour. After that, you'll start losing it. You cannot learn past. We need recess. Okay, so time out, recess.
I don't want everybody to be confused now. You got these mud ducks talking about stacking antennas. The truth on stacking antennas is you got to take into consideration the pattern that the antenna you're stacking has, and you got to get them both to work in harmony. If you get them too close apart, they work like two separate antennas. That's no good. You got to slide them back and forth and tune them so that they work as one and they're correctly co-phased. And the harness there's a formula for building your harness you can get in an ARRL handbook. But I got to call bullshit on this guy because he's acting amazed at what he hears out of some stack 4s on AM. If he knew his shit, he would have passed a test that said he had good basic radio knowledge, and he'd be a ham operator. He wouldn't be amazed by this stuff. Nope.
Now, Hambone, you know what you're talking about. I can listen to you. Now, you can come on and teach us some shit, because you know what we're doing on 27.025. The other camera have no earthly idea. Now, I can listen to you.
Well, could I just ask one question to clear up my little mind? Because I know nothing about antennas or none of that stuff. All I know is just talk. That's all I know. But what I would like to know, MotorVan's said that this is his technician antenna. And he ain't talked about nothing but antenna. And that MotorVan is on a 4P, which we already knew, because MotorVan done told us that too many times. And I'm just wondering, who is he? Is he the antenna man or the technician? Or is there a difference between antenna man and technician? I'm trying to straighten my
Good evening to the room. Lady 64, rest of the Good Time Gang, Reverend Ike, Crack, and the Antenna Man. My question, sir, is how much gain can I add to my antenna system by using ground radials instead of the regular earth? Can can I increase my gain, my system by installing some radials above the ground? How much gain can I get? Would it be cost effective? That's my question on the antenna system there. I'm going.
Yeah, you can be up too high, believe it or not. Once up above 72 feet, which is 2 wavelengths right there, it doesn't make any sense to go any higher. Whether if you're on a 3 or an 8 element with an antenna that high, because your angle will be too low and you'll just overshoot skip, and you'll just be talking to a bunch of international skip or hearing languages come in your radio that you don't even understand, or you can't communicate to them. So yeah, not above 72 feet is where I see it there, and that's yeah, it can be counterproductive there if you go too high there.
Bullshit. He's talking about putting ground radials on a ground plane. You wouldn't put no damn ground verticals on a beam.
Okay. Now, you can jump somebody else's hand, but you can't jump mine. And you sit back and you wait for a little bit. Now, earlier today, I heard somebody in the room. Now, correct me if I'm wrong now. Every night. Now, somebody came in here, was playing the game that said something, you came out there and you whipped some butt out there. And you was on a 4 or 5 element, 20 some feet in the air, and you kicked a whole lot of butt out there. And you said your beam was working. Am I right or wrong? It's true? There you go. So, my thing is, just like Crack is said, it's the same thing. A 4 element beam is going to have a wider spread. It's going to be wider. And a longer beam is going to have another spread. That way you can pinpoint where you want to go. Because I have seen a 4 element skull cracker beam whoop a whole lot of people out there. I mean a whole lot of people. And they couldn't do nothing with him. A 5 element also. A 5 element skull cracker beam made Doc Adams go to an 8 element beam. So y'all gotta think about that. And I understand, like I say, some of y'all in here beating this man up. Y'all beating him up bad. But he just telling you what he knows. Now he may not know the same game that we do, which it sounds like he don't know the game that we do. So my thing is, what he does works for him. And I can tell you right now, that 4 element beam that Reverend Ike is using is working for him, and he whipped a whole lot of butt out there. So y'all got to think about that before y'all go ahead and jumping on this man, telling him he ain't passed the test, he ain't did this. Leave the man alone. And then one more thing, some of y'all language up in this room done got way out of hand. What you got women up in this room too, so be a little respect when y'all talk about some of this stuff up in here.
I agree, sir. Totally. I think my question was misunderstood by both the two folks who answered it. I'm not talking about ground plane radios. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, the earth is important. The conductivity or the electromagnetic activity or whatever it is that's in the soil, in the earth that you're around. It plays a part in the gain of your antenna and how it affects your antenna. Now my question is, how much of a gain you will get from installing an artificial ground below the antenna, and how far should it extend below the antenna? That's my question is, so that you work the antenna off that artificial ground instead of the earth below. I hope my question is understood right now. I'm going.
I think I understand your question right now. You're trying to simulate an antenna in free space, like an isotropic radiator is what that would be. What you think the antenna, and you believe what it would do with all the electrical characteristics of it in free space. That means no trees, no big rocks, no mountains, no cars, no buildings. Yes. But, yes, your vertical antenna, will be better over horizontal over very conductive earth. That's for a fact. Vertical antennas are very prominent and do very well over very high conductive soil with high semen content there. And the best, by all means, if you could possibly get a vertical or stack 2 antennas vertically, or even a ground plane antenna just out in the ocean, saltwater is the best conductor out of everything. So yes, it will enhance the takeoff, and the radio wave would be very low to the horizon there when you don't have any obstructions there, especially over saltwater. And that's the best in free space that you can get, at least here on planet Earth it is.
So let me ask you a question. Excuse me. So you saying a vertical beam will hit a horizontal beam better than a horizontal beam going to a horizontal beam? And one more question, but I might never get back up here. So you telling me MotorVan run a 4-peel with a vertical beam, and I'm running a horizontal beam with number watch with a couple of nice steel tubes. You gonna tell me that MotorVan is more stronger than my horizontal beam going to another horizontal beam, and I'm running more power? Is that what you're saying up in here today? That's what I want to know, because I'm just curious about that. Then we are doing something wrong. Everybody's doing something wrong. Let's all go to ground planes. We can save a lot of money. We can go to Disneyland. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 99% of what you said, yes. I'm not saying going to ground planes, but if you're referring to a ground plane as stacked Yagis, yeah. But yeah, that's precisely what I'm saying. It's not about having all that power on the air. If it's not even transmitting in the atmosphere at the right angle, you're not going to talk to Skip to California like MotorVan. MotorVan's got the predominant angle. His antenna sees it. Yours doesn't. Your antenna's too narrow. Maybe it's not as high as MotorVan's, or since your antenna's so long and you got that great big beam, you got that only one good Pacific low angle out to the horizon there. MotorVan's covers all the angles there. You got such a narrow window looking out to the horizon. That's how you need to look at it.
Hey, audio minister, what you was talking about a ground radius underneath your flat side antenna, it does work. I got my personal antenna, got a ground radius on it. I got another antenna I built for a friend of mine. He got a ground radius on it. But sometimes what you find what that ground radius does, it changes the what your ohms. It sees different on that cat making in where some places 2118. What it does is some places you go to put your antenna, you set it at 50 ohms on the ground, it changes. But you can take those ground radiuses and move them and change those the ohms when you come up with your antenna and make it come back to 50 ohms. Even if you had to bring it up higher on your hot antenna, when you put your ground radius up, you can change that on it. I know it worked for a fact because I've done it on it. And you got some guys in the room, some big guys in the room that run a pretty big station that does the same thing on that end. But they never did really answer your question on that cat making it, so I thought I answered it for you. Put it on you later, my brother. I'm back listening.
I've got the ARL book out right now. I'm talking about, but I'm going to go ahead and look it up real quick.
MotorVan being man, I got a question for you, homie. I like Reverend Knight's question. That's similar to what I was going to ask, but I want to do some comparison. So you saying that MotorVan's beam, the way it is right now with that 4-peel, can whoop a flat side 4-element beam that can do 20,000 watts. Now you know how many watts the 4-peel could do. Is that what you're saying? That's what I want to know, that right.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, because he's missing probably 75% or more of his power because it's not even making it in the atmosphere at the right angle that he needs to talk to California. MotorVan's antenna's there. The reason why MotorVan can come in there sometimes get over some of you guys running all that big power out there, because his antenna is right there at that right angle. He's got all the angles covered from 5 to 40 degrees. Ike's antenna, yeah, he's got that big long boom antenna. It was what, sounds like there. Maybe he doesn't have it 72 feet up in the air. And it's horizontal, and MotorVan's antenna has got a lower angle takeoff, being vertical to talk to California. I know this for a fact. If we were to turn MotorVan's antennas from vertical to horizontal, you wouldn't hear him as much out there. But the fact is that he's vertical and he's wide, going up and down the atmosphere at a 5 to a 40-degree angle there, you're going to hear him. He just doesn't have enough power. He's got a shallow signal out there right now because he's not running the power as you guys are running.
Then you just answered my question there. First you said yeah. Now you're saying no. Now you're saying he don't have it. So you just defeated your own self. But let me ask you this, and then I'm gonna let Reverend Knight have it. Is this something that MotorVan tells you, or do you actually sit and read the mail on Channel 6? Or do you see how bad MotorVan be getting ran over? And how many QSOs have you heard him hold in traffic? And are you basing the fact that in between the key, somebody's calling MotorVan because they can't get over the guy that MotorVan's trying to talk to? What are you basing this on, homie?
I'm basing on MotorVan right now is still a mud duck because he doesn't have the power to put in his angles that he covers in the atmosphere right now with his antenna that he has. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, MotorVan needs to learn the lingo on sits a little bit and how to fit in a little bit more. Yeah, I can agree on that. And then I agree on this. Being long-winded don't make you a superstar. But I mean, come on, when you hear someone in there that's 20 dB coming in your radio like MotorVan, and someone else is over him with 30 dB, and MotorVan just keeps getting in there, just shut him up. Just come back to him. Just say, hey man, I hear you, and you're making the trip, and he's not putting them all down on anybody, but he's being heard. That's the most important thing right now. But I mean, if you're trying to fight, I mean, this springtime, this springtime is going to be on, because MotorVan's going to have, he'll have replicable power to match some of you guys out here, and his SWR will be right on the antenna, and he's going to have all the angles covered in the atmosphere. MotorVan's going to be something to contend with, mark my words.
So what will MotorVan's condition come from, since he's in Cincinnati when the skip gets short? What would be his best place to talk? Because you're saying that he's not ready to fight no one. Why don't you set him down until you all get him ready? Because I was out there yesterday, and I didn't know that till today, that he was hollering behind me all day. And let me get it right, MotorVan's technician. I'm not on a base station. I'm on a mobile, but I run a horizontal beam. It's no secret to what I do, and it ain't long. So why was he out there hooping and hollering behind me yesterday going to California? I didn't know that till today until his neighbor told me he was. But he called me out. I had the people that skipped the call. They had the skipper to call him yesterday. No MotorVan. So set him down till you get him ready. MotorVan's technician or antenna builder or trash collector or whatever. Get into the room. Come on, Real Kill.
Well, what I just heard him say, good evening to the room, top to bottom, side to side. What I just heard his text say was that he want us to let him know that he's being heard. Now, if MotorVan been listening and you've been listening, when we come up in this room, quite a few people have told MotorVan that he has been heard. I've told him a couple times that he has been heard. Hello, Shogun. And I could hear him and he sound good. But when he's out there with all of that fire, man, just hearing him, that's not good. I don't want to just be heard one or two keys and I can't hold a conversation. The game we play in here is holding a conversation. We don't want to just get out there and just say motor van or say will kill, and somebody just tell me they heard me. I don't want that. I want to hold a QSO. See, just like yesterday, I was out there, and man, I was on a 10-8 station yesterday. Hello, 2118. And it was so much noise coming back in my receive, man, where it makes me don't even want to shoot skip like that. When it's that heavy, it's hard to concentrate on what you trying to hear or who you hear. Unless it's a real 10-8 cam bigger out there that got your ears jammed. Hello, Doc. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like straining my ears. See, I hear MotorVan, but I'm not gonna talk to nobody that can't hold no conversation with me.